Hey guys, this time we have started Faiz.
Uh, going is much faster this time, mostly because we're enjoying it a lot more.
Yeah, Scott. I sit down. I was like, yeah, let's watch some Faiz, and then Scott goes, hey, can we watch 3 episodes today? And I was like, yeah, that's good. And he goes, by the way, when I said 3 episodes today, I meant for every day that we watch it. I want to watch 3 episodes.
Well, mostly because it speeds up the whole schedule of watching things.
Yes, and then we started watching Faiz, and then Scott was like, "Oh God, this is so good!"
It's really good. It's slightly slightly less good now because of the whole ham fisting things, but we'll get into that later. But I still like it a lot.
I think the thing is that I think it ends at an okay place. All the ham fisting.
Lots of ham fisting.
Yeah.
So basically, this is Kamen Rider Faiz and
555.
Five if you want to shorthand it, even though I don't know how that's really a shorthand. I guess typing it out, it's a shorthand.
It is, yeah.
Typing it out 555 is a shorthand. Also, fun fact: 555 is an emergency call number in Japan.
Oh,
which
no. The actual shorthand the writing shorthand for Faiz would be to write the Greek symbol.
Oh, to just write the Greek symbol for Faiz with a Z after it. Gotta be 2004 edgy cool or whatever.
Oh man.
But we're getting sidetracked. So basically,
it's literally one of the things I said we wouldn't do.
Yeah. So how the story starts off is it starts off with the monster thing, right?
Yeah, it starts off. We go into this lab, and the scientists are working on these 3 chemical vats with stuff inside of them, and then a monster shows up, breaks into the place
and hard murders everybody.
And we immediately get introduced to the fact that when a monster kills somebody, they turn to dust.
Which is a really odd scene because people are banging on the windows and doors or whatever of the next room over, and it's not until they're dead and ash on the ground that the other scientists on the other side of the door notice something's up.
They're we're seeing this guy bang on. It's why is nobody helping him? And then it just, the scientists just aren't even looking in that general direction, so they don't even know what's going on.
Yeah, and Alan was just like, "Wait, how did no one notice the monster?" And then he goes, "Oh wait, he busted in through a wall."
Because I thought he broke in through a door.
No, he bust down a steel wall.
Yeah.
So then after we get this whole attack thing, we cut to.
Oh, by the way, the attack has a subtitle that says 2 years ago, and then it said, and then
I thought it was
that scene takes place 2 years ago. Then we get the cut to Kiba. And
no. What I thought it has the monster attack, and then it cuts to 1 year beforehand, and then 2 years later after Kiba wakes up.
No, it's the monster attack is 2 years ago. Kiba going into the coma
lasts for 2 years.
No, it's 1 year because it's 1 year later that it says, because we get the introduction of the monster attack. It's
and then I'm pretty sure it says 1 year ago or one or it's it has the monster attack. Then
I remember this because I told you how weird it states the timeline, because
it was weird because it has the monster attack. Then it jumps to this character named Kiba Yuji.
Yeah,
and he's talking with his mom and dad. Yeah, he's talking with his parents, and his girlfriend's there, and they're just catching up and doing normal stuff. But as they're going home, some sleepy guy, or was he drunk? Either way,
there was an accident.
There's a careless truck driver that plows into their car, killing both of his parents instantly, and putting and technically killing Yuji.
What he actually goes into he's actually in a coma after the accident.
Yes, and he dies in the coma, but then
And
doesn't.
then he's in the coma for a year, and then he dies in the coma.
Yep.
But then he comes back to life.
Yes, then he literally comes back to life, and everyone's just like, oh, it's a miracle. So he leaves his home, and
he leaves the hospital.
I'm sorry. He leaves the hospital to go home, but he finds out his parents are dead, and he's talking to his uncle and his cousin, and his uncle is like, "Oh, I'm sorry. After your father died, we had to declare bankruptcy on the company, and we sold your old house, and we have nothing, and you have nothing now. You have nothing." And it's just like, damn, that sucks. So then
Kiba starts walking down the street.
and then Kiba leaves, and he's like halfway down the road, and then he starts getting like, I don't know, a headache or whatever. He starts like, no, how did this go? How did this happen? And then he starts hearing things. He hears his uncle talking, and he hears his cousin talking to his uncle, and the cousin's like, "Hey, are you sure you should have lied to him like that and told him that the company went bankrupt even though you took it over?" And he's just like, "What? No."
He says he sold it.
He
sold the company.
Right. He sold the company or whatever. It was like the point is, his uncle was totally a lying asshole.
And then he goes, "It's not my fault that I lied. It's his fault for being alive."
Yeah, it's his fault for not being dead. And it's just like, damn, what a dick. So then Kiba was just like, "No, I need to go see my girlfriend. Hey, Chie, which is her name. She's like, we can go do that thing we were gonna do.
It's time for our bicycle date." And she goes,
"Our anniversary bicycle date," which was supposed to be the next day after he gotten in the accident. But well, I don't know.
And then he even goes to state, he goes, "I know it's been a while, but it was just yesterday, whatever."
Yeah, and she's just like, "Kiba, I know you were in a coma for 2 years, and it's, yesterday for you, but it's been a lot longer for me." And then out steps his cousin, and I'm just like, damn, this bitch. Because she gave up on him after him being in a coma for 2 years or whatever.
Yeah.
But whatever. Who knows what anyone would do in a situation like that? It's like, gotta weigh your options.
Yeah. And then he gets...
But he has nothing.
Yeah. He gets really upset, and he's like walking down the street by himself or whatever
in the rain,
and then he starts going like crazy.
Oh yeah.
And the next thing is Kiba is out in the middle of the street in the rain, waiting
for his cousin to drive up.
Yeah. And then his cousin after stopping the car walks up to him and starts going
railing into
"You need to move on. You were dead. Nobody really
this is your fault for not dying." And Kiba is just like, "It's not my fault." And then he turns into a giant fucking horse monster.
Yeah.
And he hard murders his cousin.
Yeah, stabs him in the heart.
He has a sword, and he stabs that motherfucker in the chest, into his heart, disintegrating his heart.
Yeah,
we get a nice X-ray shot of it, too.
Yeah, because that's super important, apparently.
No, it's to show the viscerality. Or some shit, I don't know.
Anyway, so we cut to his girlfriend, and then all
right. So after he stabs his cousin in the heart, Kiba leaves because he's just like, "Oh, what the fuck did I just do?" So he leaves, and then his cousin gets back up, gets into his car, and drives back to his home with Chie. And he goes into the house, and he's still walking. And I'm just like, he's not dead? Wait, what the fuck is going on? And isn't this at the same time we're also getting what is it? The Mari doing things, right?
Yeah, but the thing is, they're so unrelated. We can just talk about them in
oh no,
full episode full episodic chunks.
Yeah, you're all right. So basically, this show has two storylines. Not 3, thankfully, that we have to keep track of or anything crazy like that. We have 2 distinct storylines. Right now, we're focusing on Kiba's half of the storyline.
We're focusing on ending B.
Shut up. So his cousin walks into the home, and then then she is just like, oh my god, whatever, Masato or whatever the fuck the cousin's name was, I don't remember. You scared me. And then he turns into dust and dies right in front of her, and she freaks the fuck out, calls the police, and they're like, hey, and the asshole rookie detective is just like, hey, what did you do?
Yeah, he starts grilling on her, and it's like...
And the older detective is like, dude, we don't know what happened here, you need to chill out. And then she's just like, it wasn't me! She, like, flies off the handle.
Yeah,
I'm like, man, this older detective is like trying to keep the situation calm, and no one's doing anything right. This is the worst.
So then they start following her, and when eventually she comes across Kiba, and then she starts going like, "Oh, Kiba!"
No, yeah, she's just like, "Oh, it's we were a thing, and blah 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 blah," and stuff like that, and. Kiba's like kind of like half-heartedly replying to her because he's kind of like, what the fuck is going on? I turned into a horse thing. What's happening to me? And then she sees the cops.
She like at first everything's starting to seem like it's about to get better. About to get better. She's like trying to smooth everything over, and then the cops show up, and then she goes, "He did it!" and then runs away.
Yeah, she's just like, "No, it was him," and I'm just like. I mean, she's not wrong, but there's no fucking way she could have known about that.
Oh,
and then Kiba is running away. He has to get away from the cops, even though he didn't do it. There's no fucking way they could prove it.
Yeah.
Like, how are they gonna prove? Oh yeah, I turned into a giant horse monster and stabbed him and turned him into dust.
Because the autopsy, like when the police look into this, we find out later the autopsy says that their body, like, all their organs are just gone, and then all that's left is their bodies.
Yeah, and they just disintegrate into ash. The
body's still there, it's just covered in ash, and then all their organs turn to ash.
Then how do you explain that later scene with Takumi and the guy turning into literal ash and literal a pile of dust?
The police are the ones who say these at their autopsies, not me.
Anyway, slight inconsistencies aside, there's no way they could have ever proved that Kiba, like, they would have just had to ask him, hey, did you talk to your cousin? He's just like, yeah, he was my cousin. He told me to get the fuck out of his house. he blamed me for not being dead after I found out his uncle sold my father's company, or his father sold my father's company. He would have just been like, yeah, I didn't do anything. They would have had nothing on him, absolutely zeros of things.
But I mean, the only thing they could have gotten is that they're suspicious. They could have been suspicious because Kiba would have had motive. But then, like, the ridiculous way in which his cousin died in front of the girlfriend would have been the thing that, like, how could he have possibly done it?
Yeah, but anyway, so he still runs away from the cops, and then Chie's running away, and then they meet under a bridge, and then he's like, and then
she starts apologizing.
She's just like, yeah, I was just, I wasn't thinking, and blah blah blah, and all this and that, and he's just like, I really did kill him. And she goes, what? Then he turns into a giant horse monster and stabs her in the chest and kills her.
Yeah.
Yeah, he totally murders the shit out of this bitch. And I was like, wow, I am insanely surprised
and
that this wasn't like a season-long thing.
As he's walking through the town all mopey that he has no one anymore, we get this nice, sweet Honda driving up. And then this girl's like, hey, you're okay, get in.
But it's very important about who this girl is. But that will segue back in time to earlier in the episode as we now talk about our other main character / characters, Mari. So she stops. She's this girl on a motorcycle who like stops at this ramen shop or something like that. Anyway, she stops in, and she's getting bothered by this guy, and he's just like, "Oh, come on, you're
this
kind of
guy,
hot."
yeah, this guy's like really like she
He's
stops
being
to
an asshole.
help. She helps him with his motorcycle, and so he decides to dedicate all of his time to getting into her pants.
Yeah, and he's being really obnoxious about it.
Yeah.
So she had got, so he follows her into like this restaurant, and she orders food, and then we see this what is it? We see this other guy walk in,
And he goes, or no, they after they eat the food, or after she's done talking with the guy with the motorcycle, and she goes to leave. That's when he gets up, and then that's when this other guy goes to make his move. He gets up
and he sees the bag.
He
on her
goes to
motorcycle.
he grabs her bag from her motorcycle. He says, and she goes, "What are you doing?" He goes, "You stole this from me."
He's like, "Yeah, this is my bag," and I forget how it happened. Oh yeah, they go to the police and say, "Hey, did anyone turn in this bag?"
No, that's not yet. She takes the bag back from him and runs.
Yeah, and she gets away, and then
the motorcycle dude acquires a posse. And now now the entire posse is following her around
and bothering the shit out of her.
Yeah, they're setting up a perfectly fine rape scenario. It's okay.
Yeah, they're like, "Hey, hang out with us," and then she's just like, "I'm gonna think about it for a half a second." No,
yeah. She's not. It's like she's not. She's clearly not.
They're like, "Where are you going?" "Somewhere you're not."
Oh yeah, that was a great line.
That was a fantastic line. Just, "Where are you going?" "Somewhere you're not." Drives away on her motorcycle.
Yeah, and eventually, like they're taking pictures.
And she for whatever reason decides to like humor them and hang out with them for like a while. I don't understand why. Like I guess to get them off her back, but that's mad, whatever.
Anyway, she says she's going to the bathroom, and then she gets to her motorcycle and she's gonna leave. But then she sees the corpse of one of the guys that she's hanging out with sitting on the ground.
Oh yeah, and she's just like, "Holy shit, what the fuck is happening?" So she calls over the other two guys, and she goes and gets them. And they come back and the corpse is gone. And they're like, "Hey, don't joke like that. Maybe our guy friend who hasn't been seen in like 8 hours is like still, I don't know, fucking with us or something."
And then we get him camping out. While
Alright, he wasn't missing for 8 hours. It was more like, I don't know, he'd been gone for like an hour or something like that.
Yeah, and while they're camping out,
and he got hard murdered by a monster. That's the important thing.
While they're camping out, he shows up. And then when they start saying stuff to him, he turns into dust.
Yeah, so I'm like, so I had been like wondering, like, all right, because Alan outright told me like right away, if you get killed by a monster, you turn into a monster. And I'm like,
you go through a process in which your body tries to
become a monster.
And if you're just not cut for it, you turn to dust.
Yeah, and it's seemingly random. I don't know if there's like a special thing a person's got to have, or if it's just like you just gotta.
It's super random. It's just super random.
Gotta have enough S cells. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he turns to dust, and everyone's freaking the fuck out. And then that's when the monster shows up.
One of the guys in that group turns out to be the monster and murders the other friend.
Oh yeah, that's right. So then, so in response, the girl pulls out the bag, opens it up.
First she starts run. No, wait, yeah. She pulls out a briefcase from the bag that said on the briefcase says Smart Brain. Opens it up. There's a belt. Puts it on.
And she does
types a thing on the phone, puts it in the belt, and then the belt goes, "No, fuck you."
No, it says error. Yep. And she even says henshin and all that stuff. It's like, oh, she's gonna be a writer. It's like, no, she's not gonna be a writer. She doesn't have the cape. She doesn't have the.
She doesn't have S cells.
She doesn't have enough writer cells. Gotcha. No, it's gotta be R cells for writer and S cells for the Orphanox. which, as we find out, that's the monster names.
Yeah.
But Smart Brain is a very important thing, because earlier in the food shops we saw the most nonsensical commercial I've ever seen. It didn't mean any, like, nothing in that commercial meant anything. I don't know what the company is trying to sell me. I don't know what that company is trying to tell me to do, because it's like, all life begins now with Smart Brain in English, like. And it's just like this lady, this lady in this blue uniform with, like, scenery around her and stuff like that, and I'm just like, what are you trying to tell me? Smart Brain Technologies, or I don't even know if they were technologies. They were just Smart Brain.
The way the commercial looks is that
I thought for sure they were selling me smart water. In 2004.
They have a bunch of flashes of, like, general electronic stuff. I think they're just a technologies company trying to sell stuff.
I guess, but whatever. All right. Long story short, Smart Brain Technology is not as benevolent as it seems.
Yes, because they're the ones who picked up Kiba.
Yeah, because it turns out that the lady in blue from the commercial picked up Kiba in her super cool Honda.
Yeah.
By the way, this show is definitely sponsored by Honda.
Yeah.
Because everyone drives Honda motorcycles and Honda cars. It's kind of funny.
Anyway, the guy from the ramen shop who accused her of stealing the bag shows up.
Basically out of nowhere.
And when he looks up and he sees the monster attacking, first thing he does, he walks into the scene and confronts her about stealing the stuff. Then he sees the monster, and then she just slaps the belt on his chest.
yeah, she's just like, put this on! Do the thing! And he's like, press the buttons!
She put this on, and then she opens up the phone herself, puts in the number, puts it in the belt, and activates the belt. And he henshins.
And he turns into a Kamen Rider, Faiz, who, he looks pretty cool. I like his design. He's got, like, the Tron lines, and he's got the big, his mask is a Faiz symbol.
He is definitely a technology-looking rider.
He's a techno rider.
Yeah.
And, he whoops the monster's ass. I don't think he does his rider kick just yet. No, he just does a regular kick.
He does a regular kick, and then that's what beats the monster.
Yep. And what is it? So after that, he's just like, we get them introducing themselves to each other. This guy is Inui Takumi.
Yep.
And this girl is Sonoda Mari, I think. I think her last name is Sonoda. I just remember her name's Mari.
Yeah, I don't remember her last name.
But anyway, so we get them shooting back and forth at each other now. Like, Takumi is just kind of an asshole, and he's just like, I have nothing to do with this. I don't want anything to do with this. This is all your problem.
And Mari is like, Mari is like, you're involved in this. Because you can henshin, and nothing you say,
protect me.
Nothing you say will convince me otherwise.
Yeah, you need to be my bodyguard. And he's just like, why would I do that?
I don't even know who you are.
And it's just amusing because she fucks with him a lot. Like when she, like, pretends to break her wrist or whatever. But that's like a little bit further, I think.
That's like episode 6 or something like that. Episode 5, 6.
Yeah, but like this beginning part is mostly like a little, like, building up of, like, the characters and who we're dealing with and stuff like that.
Yeah, we have a literal introduction arc, not introduction episodes, an introduction arc.
Yeah, we have a lot. We actually, there's actually a lot of characters. Again, like Ryuki. This show is definitely focusing on an overarching narrative with a lot of characters and their motivations and stuff like that. But
they do the good thing and introduce all the characters first.
Yeah, they introduce a lot of characters first. Like, there's some characters that are only just being introduced now, like the Lucky Clovers and all that. But but for the most part, our main characters who are introduced fairly early on, and it's like these are the characters that we're going to focus on. And also, I don't remember, but has there been a fight in every episode? Because even if there has, it's woven much more naturally than it was in the previous shows. Because in the previous shows, it almost felt like every fight was just there because it had to be. But in this show, all the fights feel as natural extensions of the scenes that precede them.
I believe that there is a fight every episode.
Yeah, it just feels natural this time. Like, oh, of course there's going to be a fight here because this is what it led up, or these scenes led up to it, and with the characters it makes sense that this is where the fight comes from.
Yeah,
and
there's never a scene where two people are just talking and then monster.
I think no, it kind of happens the one time with the fish recently, I think.
Maybe,
but it didn't, because that fish comes out of nowhere. The one with the crossbow.
It's the only one time that it happens.
Yeah, but I didn't. It's not something like in Agito where it was like almost painfully obvious in Agito, where the monsters were just there because they had to be, and it would interrupt conversations all over the place. It wasn't obnoxious like that, and it wasn't like in Ryuki where the monsters feel out of place in the narrative. Because in Ryuki, I felt like the monsters were just like there because they had to be, and the narrative was focused on the inter-writer conflict. Whereas here, the monsters are definitely a part of the overarching narrative. Because as it turns out, Smart Brain is basically creating these monsters called Orphanox. So it's like, because the Orphanox, and also half of our main cast, is made of Orphanox. So the monsters of the season are definitely interwoven into the overarching narrative, and because of that, like, it just feels much more natural when monsters show up and do things.
Yeah, it's established super early, the Orphanox, like the fact that the Orphanox exist, they have an organization, and they have an objective. It's
just like as we get into that, it's like before we learn about their objective and their organization, right before that we get introduced to two more characters.
It's what are
because
he doesn't show up until after.
I'm talking about Yuka and Keitaro.
Yeah.
I was
thinking of something else. Yeah,
you're thinking of Kusaka.
Yeah. I was thinking of these two characters. I don't know why, but my brain instantly shut out to like separating their introductions.
No, they were introduced at the same time.
Keitaro
gets introduced a little bit first, and then I think Yuka.
Because what we have is an episode of Kiba's plot takes place like over the course of over the first two episodes, because what my brain is instinctively doing is thinking one monster every 2 episodes.
Oh, you know what we did forget? That it wasn't that Kiba was walking and this lady from Smart Brain picked him up. He jumped off a building and killed himself. But then he didn't die.
Oh yeah,
and then
I am an idiot. Yeah.
I see. No, it's okay. I forgot about it too. Like, again, we're doing this after we've watched 20 episodes and so much plot has happened. So
yeah.
Kiba is just like, oh yeah, I fucking murdered 2 people. And I turn into a fucking horse monster now. Not only does he have like a bipedal horse monster form, he can turn into a centaur.
Yeah. And he's
like, I'm just gonna jump off this building and kill myself, and then he doesn't die, or he jumps off the building, and then he like wakes up in a super lavish apartment.
Yeah.
And the lady from the Smart Brain commercial's there, and then that's when she's just like, "Oh yeah, you're an Orphanoch now. You're a monster. Yeah. Welcome to our organization."
We get okay. And while this is going on, we're getting these great interactions in which just Takumi is trying to get out of the Mari situation, and Mari is just trying super hard to fucking keep him in it. And then they have so many scenes where they keep accidentally switching bags.
I think one of my favorites is like he has his bag because he gets it from the police station, and then he puts it down and he goes, "It's your fault that your bag looks like mine." He grabs her bag, and then he like, and then
they have a tussle.
Yeah, they have a tussle, and it falls out of his hands. So then he picks up one of the bags on the ground that turns out to be his, and you can tell because if you pay attention, and he just chucks it like over a fence, and it's just like, time for me to get out of here. And then she's just like, what a jerk, and she goes to look for it. But then like
he helps her.
His better nature gets takes hold. So he puts his bag down on his motorcycle, and he goes and helps her pick up the bag. And then she opens up the bag, and it's like got his pants in it, or no, I don't think she opens it up till a little bit later.
No, it's not till later.
But she picks up the bag, and then they walk back to his motorcycle, and now his bag is gone. Or now his bag is gone. But if you remember, it's not his bag. It's the bag with the belt in it.
Yeah.
So that's gone.
And then Mari opens up the bag, and that's when they realize that
and he's just like, I guess it's not my problem anymore. And she's just like, it's your fault. It's gone. And it's just like it's amusing interactions between two people. Like he should definitely. He also turns back the line on her. Like she's just like, "Where are you going?" He's just like, "Somewhere you're not," and leaves. I think they like stop and get food, and then he like just gets up and leaves.
Yeah.
But one of the running themes about Takumi is he has a sensitive tongue, which they keep using the term nekojita, which I guess means sensitive tongue or something like that. And he can't have food that's too hot or spicy or anything like that.
Yeah.
So and she keeps ragging on him about it, like, you're not a real man or something like that if you're a picky eater or some bullshit. And it's just amusing because it's just like this hardcore asshole, and he picks up his soup and he has to like blow on it all the way until it's like practically room temperature.
Yeah, they find the belt in a pawn shop.
That's right, they do. So then they were like, "Oh, we have to get like $50 for it or like 5,000 yen." It was something like that, right? It's like 5,000 yen. I turned out and I'm like, $50 to become a Kamen Rider? Fucking deal.
I told Scott I would sell so much more.
I think you said you'd sell me to get a Rider belt.
I said I would empty out my bank account.
And I said no, you wouldn't, because then you'd have to give me rent money.
Anyway, so we
find out that what Mari really wants to do, and her dream, and this is very important that it's her dream,
is she wants to be a beautician.
She wants to be a beautician. And then that's when she asks Takumi what he's doing. He's just like, well, I'm not doing anything. I think it's because he has like amnesia. I think he only mentions it like the once that he doesn't remember anything or something like that.
He just says that he doesn't have a dream.
Or but I think he also says something like he doesn't remember like his past or something like that. It's not brought up a lot, if at all. I don't think it's brought up any more than the once.
Because nobody really cares. Like,
yeah, nobody really cares because it's just like, But it's like he doesn't have a dream, something to go forward for. And then Mari is just like, yeah, I want to be a beautician. So they set up like a little stand in the park to like for haircuts and stuff like that and styles. And apparently Mari's pretty decent at it because they end up getting enough money to buy the Rider belt.
Yeah.
Like, there's not even a whole, like, one of those kind of deals, like, where someone buys the Rider belt right before they run in with the money and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But no, they buy it back and they get it. Solving that problem.
They part ways. I don't remember if it's him just running away again on that. Because I think it might be.
Somehow they get separated again.
Yeah, they part ways again.
I'm pretty sure he just like dips out right after they get the belt.
Yeah. And then she's attacked by a... Oh, wait, no! They part ways and they accidentally switched bags again.
Oh yeah.
This is when he's leaving the restaurant because he watches her go to the bathroom and reaches down and accidentally picks up her bag.
Yeah, that's right. I was like, she's just like, I gotta use the bathroom. I'm like, I bet he leaves her right the fuck now. And he does. Yeah. I was like, he gets out. He's just like, I don't need to deal with this anymore.
Leaves, and then she's attacked by another monster, an elephant monster. This time.
Yeah.
He also has a centaur form, and
but it's like the animal part is elephant sized, but like the human torso part is still human sized. Okay. And then that's when Takumi rolls up out of nowhere on his motorcycle and henshins.
He henshins.
This time he says henshins and does the pose.
He says henshin and strikes a pose. And then Scott looks at me about this, and I go, he read the manual. And then also you can see inside the suitcase that on like the symbol for the person using the belt on the manual suitcase thing is him striking the same pose that Takumi's doing.
Yeah, it's like a little guy doing the pose. And I go, but how did you know to say henshin? He's just like, shut up and enjoy it. And I go, oh, okay. And then that's when he figures out, and that's when thankfully he read the manual and figures out how to do his Hisatsu, his rider kick. The exceed charge kick, or whatever it's called.
It's what it is Mari runs up to him and then pulls out the stuff and then does all the things for him.
Oh yeah. She like slaps the little thing on his ankle and presses all the buttons for the exceed charge.
Yeah, and then he does his rider kick and beats the elephant.
Yeah, the rider kick is pretty cool. It summons the giant drill, and he kicks inside of it, and then he teleports through the enemy, and they explode with like a Faiz symbol, like hanging in the air.
Yeah. Now we get the introduction of our next two characters.
Yeah, we get them like talking to each other on the phone. I think that's how it starts. But
so it introduces them as pen pals.
Right, yeah, they're pen pals. And it's like this high school girl. We don't know how old she is, but I'd like to think she's like 17 or 18. That's what I'd like to think. And that's what I'd like to think.
I told Scott it's all right if she's 16 as long as Keitaro is 18, because I honestly don't care about that 2-year gap right there.
Yeah, but it's like it matters to me. Anyway, it doesn't really matter to me, but anyway. You know what
Is it possible that she's in university?
No, because she's in a schoolgirl uniform. She's in high school. And I'm pretty sure they definitely say, "Oh yeah, that high school basketball team got hard murdered." That one time they got hard murdered.
They do say that.
And Keitaro, he doesn't seem to be in school because we never see him in school, and he doesn't go to university. Yeah. So I'm thinking he's out of high school, but I don't know.
I like to think that he's just working right after high school.
Yeah. But anyway, so we meet this girl named Yuka, who gets shit on like every day.
Her family,
it's the worst.
Like, in the best of scenarios, her family sandbags her.
Yeah, the favorable scenario is they ignore her very existence, except for her cousin or whatever. Sister. No, because remember they take, or like the parents take in Yuka, and the sister or whatever says, "Oh, we're only related by blood a little bit." Or something. So I think they're like cousins or something. I don't know. It doesn't matter. They're all assholes. Anyway, what the other girl does, the cousin, the sister, whatever, she just bullies her out of the other sister's paycheck. Like that's all she does. She just takes her money and is a complete bitch to her.
Yeah. And even like,
and then they pick on her at school, wrecking her stuff and humiliating her, and it's fucking the worst. Like it's infuriating to watch because it's just like, wow, what fucking utter despicable people.
We have our alongside this is just Keitaro doing his job.
Yeah, and then Keitaro is, and then like there, and then we have the guy Keitaro, who is just this like pure-hearted, super altruistic boy who just works at a laundry cleaner and does people's laundry and buys their groceries and finds their lost children and and cleans their windows.
Yeah. So eventually there's like one really particularly cold day where after being beaten by the basketball team, when I say beaten, I don't mean like they beat her in a game. No, I mean they literally beat her.
They bean her with basketballs to the face because she's slightly not good enough.
And as she's walking home, while it's like really cold and snowing, she falls over and dies.
She slips down some stairs. She slips down some stairs. That's it. She slips down some stairs and then she dies, but then she doesn't die.
Yeah, just like Kiba, she just wakes up and
goes home. And then but the important thing is that like her talking to Keitaro over the phone or over text messages, because they don't call each other, they just text. She basically lies and says like, oh yeah, my parents were super happy about my grades when they totally like didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
And all that stuff.
And then she goes home and
I forget what happened to like the sister character. I think she like almost gets hit by a car.
Yeah, she almost gets hit by a car and rolls down a hill.
And breaks her ankle and she's just like stuck. And then this is when Yuka is doing some dishes and she hears her crying out in pain. So because after the parents are wondering where she is, and it's even worse because it's like we have a scene of the parents sitting there wondering where the cousin is, and then that's when Yuka walks into the door and they're like, "Oh, it's just you," and I'm like, "Wow," to her face, what utter bastards.
Yeah, and she's doing dishes, and then that's when she hears the help thing. Then she's like, "Oh, I hear her!" And then they rush toward her, and they find her, and then her sister immediately blames her for it.
No, it's like the parents or the mother is just like, "Oh my god, thank you so much, you saved her," or whatever. And then for literally no reason, the cousin was just like, she's the one who pushed me down the hill. Like, the thought that Yuka could get any sort of positive enforcement from the parents was just something that couldn't be. Like, it just couldn't, it was just unacceptable. Yeah. Any sort of acceptance, completely unacceptable. When Yuka was just like, fucking worried about her and shit. And it was just like, wow, like, why? And then the father was just like, oh, then how did you know she was here? Get out of our house. You're not allowed back. So then Yuka basically becomes homeless.
Yeah, and then she goes to school the next day, and then everybody's bullying her about being homeless, and they take her shoes or whatever. And eventually, then she just gets up, goes to the gym, and she's so done with everything. That's when she awakens her Orphanaut powers and just kills everybody.
She kills all of them. All of the basketball team.
Yeah.
Except for, I think, the cousin. Because the cousin was home still with a twisted ankle.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I'm really surprised they still haven't, like, done anything with that. So I thought for sure that...
They don't do anything with it for the
Really? She doesn't go back and hard murder them?
No, she doesn't.
Anything? Oh, that's slightly disappointing to know, but whatever. It doesn't. Yeah. At this point, it doesn't really matter. There are so many more things going on.
And then as she's agonizing over everything, our boy Kibo walks up and convinces her to go with him.
Yeah, he's good boy. He's very good boy.
Yeah.
Too pure for this world.
And on Keitaro's side, he's doing laundry, and then
no. So what happens is something happens, and like one of the shirts gets muddied up. Oh no, his car breaks down because of some asshole on the road, and then
wait,
he
no,
crashes.
no. This is better. He crashes because Takumi cuts him off.
Oh yeah, a guy on a motorcycle cuts him off, so he crashes instead of like slamming on the brakes and just slowing down. He veers off the road because Takumi slightly cuts him off a little bit,
and then Mari shows up.
And he's just like, and then she's just like, well, I can't fix, smashed front of a van. So he's just like, I have to deliver this laundry. If I don't deliver this laundry, the customer will never be happy ever again. I'm like, guy, you need to calm down just a little bit.
I'm sorry that I'm gonna say this now, but he breaks down in his little crybaby cry.
He does.
Keitaro is an alright character, except for every time he does this, he just breaks down in a crybaby cry.
He breaks down into sheer tears over the fact that someone will not get their clean laundry that day.
Yeah. And
so Mari is just like, I mean, it's like kicking a puppy. I can't just walk away here. So she's just like, alright, get on my motorcycle, I'll help you deliver it. And then it one of them flies out of his hands and falls into the road, and someone runs it over.
Yeah.
And it's completely wrecked. And she's just like, oh, don't worry, we'll just throw into a washing machine here.
And then when they show up to the laundry place, they're like, oh, we're done washing it, now we gotta throw it in the dryer. And then they go to throw the stuff in the dryer, and then the clothes that he takes out takes out of that dryer and puts in a random basket. She sees the red underwear, takes the red underwear, and runs out the door.
Oh no! It was Takumi's crazy pants that we never see him wear, but he has them. He just has these crazy red and yellow pants.
I wish that his crazy red underwear was another plot point in another episode.
It wasn't underwear. It was pants. But anyway, I really wish they had taken his god awful dress sense and just made a thing out of it. He always dresses awful, but no, he dresses like a normal person in television.
Yeah.
I really wish they had he wore garish colors, super terrible.
She even before this makes fun of him for having red underwear. It's the best.
Yeah, she's just like, what kind of pants are these? They're mustard yellow and ketchup red or something like that.
Yeah.
And he's just like, this, whatever.
It's mine, whatever.
Yeah, and it's that's why I really wish that his god awful dressing sense was just a constant thing for him. And it's not. He just, it's normal outfits, normal color schemes.
It's just something that gives,
and it never comes back up again later.
Yeah, it's just something for her to make fun of at the start.
It's something for her to make fun of, and technically an excuse for them to keep running into each other by accidentally switching bags.
Yeah. So Takumi walks in, looks down, and goes, why are my clothes out of the machine? Where's my underwear? Did you take my underwear? And then Keitaro was like, oh no, I didn't do it. And then Mari walks in and goes,
oh no. Remember, they do a tug of war on the shirt that Keitaro just had cleaned.
Yeah.
And it rips. And Keitaro is just like, no, now the customer will never be happy. Ever. Yeah, he's completely serious. I'm being an asshole about it. But Keitaro is super into, this is his thing. He needs people to have clean laundry.
Yeah.
For everyone to be happy. You need to have clean, pure white laundry.
Yeah, so then Mari walks in, and then this is our main trio: Mari, Takumi, and Keitaro. Yeah,
it's basically a similar dynamic to Ryuki's with the whole with Shinji, Ren, and useless character. You know who I'm talking about? Yui.
Yeah. Except instead of two nice people and a git, we have
two gits and a
they're not gits. They're assholes. All right, we have two assholes and a crybaby.
We have two assholes and a naive crybaby. His naivete is super important.
Yeah, and it is. This is a way better dynamic than.
Oh yeah. Because now instead of man, why are you such? It's like, why are we friends with this asshole? It's like, man, why do we? It's like, why are we hanging out together? And it's like, oh yeah, because Takumi can do the thing with the rider belt, and then that's when I think he has to like stop a monster or something like that. Oh no, it's because those thugs from the what's it Jiggy show up. The thugs on the motorcycles who are monsters.
We get their introduction, and one of them attacks them in a tunnel.
Yeah,
and steals the rider belt and henshins.
And then Keitaro tried to use the rider belt because he's just like, because I think they like talk about it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They talk about the rider belt or whatever, and then Keitaro, like, knowing that Takumi's an asshole, says like,
so we're gonna save everyone, right? And then even Takumi and Mari are like, no, what? That's not what we're here for. Because Mari's deal is that she got the belt in the mail or something like that.
She got it in the mail from her dad.
From her father. So she has to go see her father in Tokyo. So that's why she's going to Tokyo. Because they start off in, I don't know, some other place. Yeah. And then she meets Takumi on the way. And that's how she's
Takumi is also going to Tokyo, but for no particular reason.
Yeah, for no because he's just a drifter. He has no reason. Oh, excuse me. He has no reason to go anywhere or do anything. So he just
I believe he talks about that. He thinks that if he goes back to Tokyo, he can find a dream.
Yeah, it's something like that. But otherwise, he kind of just accidentally gets dragged along for the ride. And Keitaro is going to Tokyo because
no, Keitaro isn't going to Tokyo. It's after the tussle that he says, "Hey guys, I have a place in Tokyo that we can all stay at after the fact."
Oh yeah, it's like super after the fact.
Yeah.
But yeah, Keitaro is just like, "Oh, we can use this rider this thing to like fight the monsters and save everyone." And both of the other people are like, "No, that's not our deal. We're just trying to get to Mari's father, or well, Mari is trying to get to her father. Takumi is just kind of there by accident."
Yeah. And
so then Keitaro steals the rider belt in the middle of the night and tries to use it on the monster.
And then then when he can't henshin, the monster takes the belt from him and henshins.
Yeah, he's just like, sorry, not everyone can use the Faiz gear. So that's when the monster puts it on and turns into Faiz.
And like because this guy's in a duo of like him and another guy. And then he just turns around and murders his friend.
Yeah, he murders his friend because, like, earlier, the asshole who eventually steals the rider belt murders a gas station attendant for daring to ask him for money for gas.
Yeah.
And then the other guy is just like, are you fucking stupid? You just attacked someone in the middle of the day. You're lucky no one saw you. And he's just like, whatever, man. And then eventually we find out that he had been getting tired of being ordered around.
Yeah. And then we get... I don't remember how they get the belt back, honestly.
I think it's the robot. The motorcycle robot.
When Mari's about to get attacked by the guy, the motorcycle turns into the robot and attacks him.
That's right. Yep. So apparently, the Faiz belt's motorcycle, which came with the belt for some reason, can turn into a robot that can fly and shoot Gatling gun, or has a Gatling gun in its shield, like a Gyan or something.
Yeah, it attacks the guy, and then eventually the belt comes off, and Takumi henshins and beats the guy.
Yeah, and then that's when they go to Tokyo.
Yeah, Keitaro's like, "Oh, if you guys are going to Tokyo, my parents have a place in Tokyo. No, you have a place to stay and stuff to do."
And then that basically solves both the homeless problem.
Yeah, because they were actually homeless before this.
Yeah, it was actually kind of cool seeing them like doing the travel thing and sleeping out underneath like the nothing.
Yeah,
and there are some great moments where Takumi is just like, you shouldn't trust this girl. She lies all the time. Because earlier she had pretended to break her hand. And she's just like, if my hand's broken, I can't fulfill my dream. And Takumi's just like, fuck, fine, I'll stay with you until you're healed up. But we should go to the hospital. And she's just like, no, not the hospital. Let's just keep going. And then she actually hurts her hand.
Yeah. And now we have assembled the entourage in Tokyo.
Yeah, we've assembled the entourage, and also important that they go to Tokyo is that Keitaro is just like, Yuka, I know you're in Tokyo. We should see each other sometime. But she's going through her whole monster thing.
Yeah, she doesn't respond.
She's not responding.
Yeah.
So now we have Kiba and Yuka basically going through a tutorial to how to be an Orphanoch in Smart Brain. Like they get their little...
The funny thing is as Takumi Mari and Keitaro show up in Tokyo, they're immediately being tailed by a monster who gets called and told he has something more important to do.
And it's to handle these new Kohais, these new brand new Babu Orphanochs that need to get taught what's what.
Yeah. So he starts off by teaching them about...
So they basically they have them show up into the Smart Brain, and then they call in a random guy,
and he goes, "Oh, you called me, senpai? I'm glad to be working with this guy." Is just going in like, really, I'm he's just super honored to be working with you, senpai. All this,
and then he gets hard murdered and turns into dust, and he's just like, see, this is how we become more. This is how we make more Orphanochs. We attack people, and if they don't become another Orphanoch, they just die, or they could turn into another monster. And then this is our deal. And Kiba and Yuka are like,
Then he takes them to a cafe restaurant.
Yeah,
and then he goes, this is our mission. This is our mission. This is what we do. And this also happens to have been a place that Takumi used to work at.
Yeah, and it was really crazy because the owner was just like, tomorrow is going to be my life. He was 5 minutes from retirement.
before the Orphanochs show up at the cafe,
like the
Takumi
day before,
stops in to say hi.
Yeah, and to give back money that he had been accused of stealing.
Yeah, and the restaurant owner is like, hey man, you should come back and work here. I know that you didn't actually steal the money and then you just took the blame and left.
Yeah, and he's just like, I've been thinking about retiring because I'm getting old. Tomorrow, I'm closing up shop for good. I'd be real appreciative if you showed up for my last cup of coffee.
My Saigo coffee.
Yeah, his last cup of coffee. The last cup of coffee he makes in the store. So then, fast forward to the next night, and then the Orphanochs show up and ruin everything. He's literally 5 minutes from retirement.
Yeah,
and the Orphanochs, and this Orphanoch senpai guy, who's training them, who's taking Yuji and Yuka on their tutorial mission, and he just murders everyone in the room, including the fucking bartender or the coffee shop tender guy.
Yeah,
Master.
Yuji and
Yuka
run away.
They get the fuck out of there.
Yeah, and when the guy steps out,
no. And then as they run away, that's when Takumi walks in and sees the master get murdered.
Yeah. Then
the boss.
Then Takumi and the senpai fight, and Takumi lands his Hisatsu.
He lands his rider kick, and then so I think what is it? Takumi gets like distracted or something like that, and
the guy runs away.
The guy runs away, and then Yuji and Yuka, they're running, and then all of a sudden a car drives up, and he's just like, "I have one last thing to teach you: how an Orphanoch dies. Total destruction." And then he bursts into flame, and then he turns into ash, like the people he murdered did.
Yeah.
But then after that, who runs up behind him? But one of the patrons that was inside the coffee shop. He's an Orphanoch now, too.
Yeah.
He succeeded in creating a new ally for their cause.
And this is
Kaido.
The third member of our Orphanoch trio.
Yep, because now we have our third because now we finally have we have the two trios set up. We have our rider trio of Takumi, Mari, and Keitaro, and then we have our Orphanoch trio of Yuji, Yuka, and Kaido.
Now that I think about it, a lot of things in this show just comes in threes. It's really weird.
Well, it's the rule of three.
Oh man.
And it's great because like this Orphanoch trio has kind of like a different dynamic from our Rider trio, because like Yuji is just like this really calm and collected guy, and Yuka is just really down on herself. She's like a super downer, and then Kaido is just insane. He's
Kaido
great.
is filled to the brim with energy.
He's super energetic.
Yeah.
And so then we have to go into Kaido's storyline.
Yeah. Kaido is on his way. Like at first, he's like he wakes up in the apartment. Yeah. And then when they're trying to explain to him about the
whole Orphanoch deal, he's just like, "Oh, I'm not human anymore. I'm a monster." Fucking deal.
No, he doesn't even go on. He doesn't start that yet. What he starts off with, I don't have time for this. I have a job interview, and then he leaves.
That's right. He's like, I have a job interview, and then he what does he do? He like wrecks somebody cuz someone's passing out flyers. That's important. I think it's Keitaro.
Yeah, Keitaro is passing out flyers, and then he grabs the flyers and throws them in the sky and drives off.
For no reason.
It's great.
So Kaido gets to his job interview, and he's talking to the interview.
Oh, wait, also, as he's driving off after he threw the flyers, Yuka is chasing him.
And bumps into Keitaro
and drops her phone.
That was the important. I was like, there was something important about the scene where he throws away the flyers that made that scene do something, but I couldn't remember what it was, and you reminded me. Thank you.
So, he's at the job interview, and
he's talking to the guy, and and they're like, what's one of your skills? And he goes, And he starts basically using a Sherlock scan because he can smell super good now.
Yeah, he can smell and hear super good, which is...
He's like, you have some kind of what's it when you have a irregular heartbeat?
I think it's arrhythmia.
Yeah, arrhythmia. He's just like, you have an arrhythmia, and he goes, how did you know that? And then he's just like, and I also smell that you're a smoker, and you had this thing for lunch, and you have blood on you.
And Kiba's like not even caring.
You mean Kaido?
Kaido's not even caring about this.
Yeah, he's just like, you have and I smell blood on you. You know, whatever.
Then we cut to after the interview, because apparently he just doesn't get the job.
He doesn't get the job. But then we get to a cut of the police officers who are investigating. We check in with them periodically, occasionally, to hear them talking about all the dead fucking piles of ash all over the place.
All they do is take, like, all they do every time they show up is say, except for like one or two times, they go, oh yeah, there's these mysterious murders and they might be related, but we're being told that they're not connected.
No, all right. So I think one of the best lines is like what the younger cop detective is talking to the older one, and the younger one is just like, "Do you think all of these are connected?" And then the older detective is like, "Of course they're all connected. Of course there's one culprit." Or he's like, of course they're all connected. And I'm just like, that's kind of obvious. You can't just accidentally have people turning into... It's not like spontaneous combustion or whatever. So we get them talking, and they're like, oh yeah, this guy who's part of a company has been murdering his own employees to collect insurance money. And sure enough, it's the guy that Kaido is interviewing.
Yeah, and that guy...
tries to hard murder Kaido.
But because Kaido's an Orphanoch, it doesn't kill him.
Yep.
And then he goes to attack that guy.
And he does murder him, I think.
Yes. And
that's when Takumi shows up and transforms into Faiz.
Yeah, Takumi shows up. Oh, I should mention this because it's important. He in front of Kaido transforms into Faiz.
Yes. He shows up regular, then he transforms. No. And doesn't Kaido interrupt the henshin sequence at first?
Yeah, he interrupts it at first, and then Takumi
is able to get away in henshin.
Yeah.
And then he's fighting Kaido, but then Yuji is running around because he's worried about Kaido being, on the loose and not knowing anything.
He sees Kaido getting his shit pushed in by Faiz. and he attacks Faiz.
So then he transforms into his Orphanok form. Specific, very important.
Yeah. He transforms over, then jumps into the scene, attacks Faiz. They exchange finishers, and then...
Well, Yuji doesn't really have a finisher.
It's whatever.
He just has a sword. He blocks the rider kick with his sword.
Yeah.
But he still kind of gets hit in the chest a little bit, I think.
Yeah. And then he... Oh, no, yeah, because they don't actually exchange attacks. Yuji gets
but the important... Because we were talking about... Oh, yeah, sorry, your chest was just on fire for a little bit.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he knocks Faiz away, but Yuji doesn't see Faiz D Henshin. He and Kaido both transform back into human form, which Takumi doesn't see, and they kind of limp away while Takumi is kind of like half unconscious on the ground.
Yeah.
And then that's when Keitaro shows up to help him up, or something like that. Anyway, so in the aftermath of that fight, they start explaining to Kaido like what the deal is, and he goes, "Oh, I'm not." That's when he goes, "Oh, I'm not human anymore. Fucking deal.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get back at everyone who ever fucked with me." So, and then at the same time, back at in the Keitaro shop, because obviously we have to have our characters interact with each other again.
Yeah.
So Keitaro is talking with this woman, and she's just like complaining to him about how her son never visits or calls or anything like that, you know, because he's a grown-ass man in a grown-ass world and he doesn't gotta do what she say anymore. But Keitaro's like, "Oh, that's so terrible." And she's just like, "Hey, can you help me and talk to my son?" And everyone around Keitaro is just like, "Keitaro, you need to turn this bitch away. Tell her to go home." And he's just like, "Of course," because his ultimate dream that I don't think we've gotten into, but his dream is to make everyone in the world happy, and he starts doing that by cleaning their clothes. That's where it all starts. Clean clothes make a clean soul, or something. I don't know.
It's a good excuse for, or no, not even a good excuse. It's an excuse to get them involved in things.
Yeah, so Keitaro basically drags Takumi over to the university that ends up being exactly where Kaido's going, because Kaido used to be a rock star. I say rock star, but he wasn't a rock star. He was really good at playing the guitar, but one day a tragic accident happened and someone cut the brakes to his motorcycle, and then he crashes. Then his hand gets run over.
Specifically his hand. And he starts like, he just runs up to the university dressed like a homeless man with like a tin can bongo drum that he keeps, you know, beating to an off tune and like yelling and jumping out at people. I'm surprised the cops aren't here 5 minutes ago, but you know, whatever. I don't know. Eventually, he ends up at the guitar, whatever class. Yeah, and he starts interrupting them, and they're all about to get in a fucking scuffle. And the teacher walks in and says,
sensei.
Yeah, and then he's like, "You guys shouldn't fight."
And it was like, what is it? He listens to the sensei, and it was like, oh fuck, I'm basically forgetting what happened. But long story short, during his musings, he's having to deal with the fact that he can't be a musician anymore because with his hand broken, he can't play through a whole song.
Yeah. Anyway, Keitaro and Takumi meet the kid who they're supposed to talk to. Turns out he's also a part of the guitar class.
Yep.
And they go, like, Keitaro's like, "Hey man, you should really go see your mom, blah blah blah." And Takumi just goes like, hey, he's an adult. He should do whatever he wants. And then then he goes like, you're supposed to be on my side, Takumi. He goes, I never agreed to help you.
He's like, yeah, I never agreed to be a part of this, so I'm just gonna speak and say whatever I want.
And then the kid talks about his dream about playing guitar. And then Keitaro's like, oh, I'll go back and talk to your mom about playing guitar. And then Takumi, like, instantly responds with, bro, you should go back to your mom. You're being a fucking bitch.
No, I think you have that backwards.
No, Takumi starts off on the kid's side and then moves to the mom's side when Keitaro switches.
Yeah. And then basically it culminates in the fact that now people around the assholes who used to bully Kaido or whatever for being a musical genius, because he was a musical genius, start dying due to Orphanok murders, and we know this because they turn into piles of ash. But Kaido isn't the one doing it. And it's like, well, like, we're sure he's not doing it, but it's weird, because so there's another Orphanok running around doing shit. And then, oh man, help me out here. Long story short, basically, Kaido's entire arc here is where he's lost out on his dream, and his life is basically had been ruined because of this accident. And Kiba is still recovering from his injuries from meeting up with Faiz, basically. And Kiba's trying to tell him not to go and murder people, because then he'll lose what little humanity he has left. And Kaido goes,
Kaido ain't got time for that shit.
Well, Kaido basically says, you don't know, I lost my entire life and all this, and I can't, and he starts talking about dreams, and he's just like, he's like, having a dream is like having a curse. Because if you fulfill it, then you're on top of the world. But if you never fulfill it, then it sits there, dragging you down every time you realize that you never fulfilled your dream. And I'm like, holy shit, that's dark. That's fucking intense. And then I'm thinking, I'm like, damn, Kiba also had his life taken away. I don't know who has it worse. Because, like, Kiba had it pretty bad. But, like, damn, Kaido had it pretty bad too. It's tragic either way.
You know who had it worse? Yuka.
Well, I mean, no one's arguing that. No one's arguing that. And unfortunately for Yuka, Kaido's just an asshole to her because she's a doormat, and he doesn't like that she's a doormat.
Yeah. Kaido meets the kid who Takumi and Keitaro are supposed to be talking to, and he starts teaching him how to be better at guitar, and eventually the sensei walks in and goes like, "Oh man, you got a fucking Kaido teaching you. Oh, you're gonna be great." And Yuka hears one of the songs at one point, and then we get the teacher trying to cut the brakes to that kid's bike, and Yuka catches him, and when he transforms and attacks her, she jumps away.
Yeah, apparently Yuka is ridiculously more powerful than this dude.
Yeah. Well, Scott only says that because I said that during the I said that. I was like, oh man, that guy, if they got into an actual fight, that guy would get wrecked. Then I think the sensei gets into fight with Faiz, or with Takumi, and then he runs away. And as he's walking through the gymnasium, there's Kiba sitting in a chair going like, "Oh man, You're doing you're one of the worst things on this planet. Somebody who destroys people's dreams.
Yep, and at the same time, a guy had been following around Mari one of the Orphanochs had been following Mari to take the belt, and it's like Keitaro had been railing into Takumi about not having a dream, and then who was
Oh
Mari?
yeah, because there's an entire plot where Mari is trying to get a job at a fucking salon. I forgot about that.
No, it was super important because she's trying to get a job at the salon. And she's not doing so hot, but she keeps doing her best, that kind of deal. And she finally gets good enough that she starts getting that she gets hired. And Takumi is just like, why? He starts being a gay. He's just like, why are you even working so hard for these dreams? None of it even matters. And he's just being like a super asshole. But then he talks to Mari, and Mari is just like, having a dream. She says something similar to what Kaido says, and basically explains like having a dream is difficult, but it's super fulfilling because it gives you something to work towards and look at in the future and stuff like that. And Takumi takes that to heart. And as you can tell from now, Takumi and Kiba get a lot of parallels to them. Like they have similar conversations, they have similar setups at similar times. So where Kiba says, "I'll never forgive you for destroying the dreams of others," Takumi says, "I may not have a dream myself, but I can protect the dreams of others." And that's when he henshins into Faiz and beats up the monster that had been following Mari. It was really good. It was really good. It was fun. It was a really good moment because then I think both fights are happening over Kaido playing the song.
Yeah.
And I was just like, damn, this is pretty fucking good. This is pretty fucking good.
I think it's now we get the introduction of the Lucky Clover.
It's close enough. So the Lucky Clover gang.
So
they're not a gang. They're classy.
We get the introduction of the new president of Smart Brain.
Oh yeah, because remember, he calls Mari and Takumi to get the Faiz belt from them.
Yeah. I was literally about to skip over that. I forgot.
Yeah, he calls in Mari and Takumi to be like, we want the Faiz belt. Like he has them dress up in like a tuxedo and a dress for like no reason.
Yeah.
For no reason. Hey. And the president. All right. So you know what we forgot to mention? That Mari's dad was supposed to be the president of Smart Brain, but now he's not.
Yeah.
Mari's dad was supposed to be the president of Smart Brain, but now he's not. You know, we also forgot to mention them meeting Kiba by trying to break into his car.
Oh yeah.
So
God
damn, we forgot a lot. So damn, we did forget a lot. But long story short, because Mari is just saying that she's the president's daughter, she's his stepdaughter with either a different last name or whatever, and they're not letting her in. Also, the president has been like not there for a while, so they're like, "Oh, we're just gonna break in. All we need to do is find someone with a badge and then steal their badge." So they see Kiba walking away,
and then they're both like, "That's an easy target.
That's definitely an easy target." So they try to break into his car, but like they get totally caught, and they have to like. And then Mari spins this web of lies that basically say Takumi is her brother and they're starving and they don't have anywhere to go and they were just trying to get some money for food. And
no, she doesn't say Takumi is her brother. She says Takumi forced her into this life.
No, she calls him her brother. I promise.
Anyway, she also says that Takumi forced her into this life.
It was something. It was something like that. But then Kiba, he's super forgiving, too pure for this world, and he goes, "Hey, I want you guys to not do this anymore, please. This isn't the way."
And then when they go to leave, Kiba says to Takumi, "Hey, you should be a better man.
You need to be a better man and take care of your sister." Takumi's been silent the whole time because apparently he doesn't want to say anything to like enforce or contradict this lie that she's going for. But because they meet Kiba, that's how they know that Kiba. We know that Kiba works for Smato Brain, and then that.
I mean, that's not the actual reason why we know he's there.
But it's important to know that he officially works for Smart Brain with like a key card and an ID and whatever. And after so
he works for Smart Brain, but doesn't do anything that they tell him to do.
All they do is give him side quest missions to go murder humans.
And he says no.
And he extra says no. He doesn't want to kill people. He wants to. In fact, Kiba wants to protect humanity from Orphanox because killing them is wrong. Because 90% of your kills don't become Orphanox. They just die. And then, all right, so we had to go over that because that was important.
Yeah. Because
it establishes that Takumi and Kiba know each other in their regular forms, but not in their rider and monster forms.
So they meet the Smart Brain president.
The new Smart Brain president, who's super radical and rides in on a bicycle.
Yeah.
He's 90s radical in the year 2004.
He goes, hey, you guys have the Faiz belt. That's mine. Give it back.
Yeah, he's like, this is the Faiz belt belongs to the company, and we're going to use it to protect people. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, no, this is mad sketch, guys. Don't do it. And they totally do it. They give up the Faiz belt.
Yeah.
And then Takumi kind of gets into a funk because after he had just been like, oh, I finally found something I can kind of do sometimes, Faiz gets taken away from him. And he's just kind of like a dude who works at a laundry cleaner, or a laundromat now.
Yeah.
That's him. So he kind of gets down about that. And then they give the belt to Kaido. Yeah. Kaido becomes Faiz, and he basically becomes a hitman for any Orphanoch who doesn't go and murder people.
Yeah, it lasts all of about 2 episodes.
Yeah, but it's important to know that it's important because it shows that, like, that's what they want the Faiz belt for basically cleanup. It's like, if you're not with us, you're against us, and that's not cool. And, like, because Kiba has just recently started not murdering humans. Like, he never murdered humans, but they're basically starting to, like, pay attention to the fact that he's not doing that. They're like, hey, we're gonna probably send Faiz after you. You need to, not be a fucking, not be a coward. You need to increase our allies and do the thing. And, this is said to him by the commercial lady in blue, or whatever, with her super upbeat voice. And Kiba looks at her in the eyes and goes, I want you to go to your president and tell him to eat a dick. And then he walks away. It was great. It was fantastic. I mean, he didn't use those exact words, but, you know, yeah. That's how it went. In my heart, he said he did it.
Then we go through the subplot of the monster of the day. And it
basically it was a guy who didn't want to murder anybody, but then he did. Because he murdered somebody, because he kept breaking into their houses for food, because he was, like, homeless or starving, or I don't know, something like that. And, what is it? So, because of that, Kaido
attacks him. Like, they see the guy transform into his Orphanoch form, and then Kaido shows up, henshins, and beats the fucking monster. And then that guy runs away. Then we get the next episode where Kaido is talking to Kiba, going like, hey man, you better watch out, they're gonna send me after you. You better watch out.
And Kiba was just like, you can't beat me. And I was like, real shit? Real shit? And yeah, Kiba was just like, as you are now, you can't beat me. Because Kaido's still, like, getting over the fact that, like, his dreams are ruined, and he had to basically pass the torch on to the next generation, and he's still got all these unresolved feelings.
Then Kaido goes off on a motorcycle ride to blow off some steam,
and he sees Takumi and he knows Takumi is Faiz, But Takumi recognizes Kaido as
the guy who has Faiz now.
Yeah, as the guy who can transform into Faiz, but he doesn't know he's an Orphanoch too.
Yeah.
So it's,
so like, Kaido starts fucking with him, and then he rides off because he has to go fucking
murder somebody.
Yeah, and this time it's Kiba, and then Kiba just beats the shit out of him.
Yeah, Kiba beats the shit out of him. And then I think it's Keitaro who steals the rider belt.
Yeah, because Keitaro is hanging out with Yuka for whatever reason. And
I think they go on like a date or something.
Yeah, I think so. And Yuka's like, oh no, Kaido, you're hurt. And then at first Keitaro's like, oh no, he's hurt. Wait a minute, this is the guy who had the Faiz belt. There's the Faiz belt, and then he steals it.
And he steals it, and he throws it at Takumi's face, and then Takumi gets the Faiz belt back, and it's great.
And Takumi fights the...
And he
fights the monster.
Our boy is back. Our boy is back in town.
And then up on an elevated section is our new rider, Kamen Rider Kaiza, and I almost lost my shit because he was a henshin, and there's a problem with that.
Yeah, we don't know what it is just yet, but next episode we find out. If a person uses the Faiz belt, they die like they had been killed by an
Kaiza belt.
The Kaiza belt, yeah. What did I say?
You said Faiz.
Oh, my bad. I definitely meant Kaiza, not Faiz.
Yeah, and then this is when they start. This is when they actually introduce the Lucky Clover, which is said to be like the 4 strongest Orphanochs.
Yep, but we only see 3 of them.
Yeah,
we see the bartender lady. We see the guy who reads books, who reminds me of the guy from Kuga.
And then we get
Mr. J,
this big burly black man with a chihuahua
named Chaco, and he's great. His entire motivation is he does everything for Chaco. It's all for Chaco.
Yeah.
Basically, a guy like accidentally knocks a drink over onto Chaco or something like that, or what is he like almost hurts Chaco in some manner or fashion.
Yeah, and then Mr. J just kills him.
Mr. J just fucking shoves tentacles down his throat and eviscerates this man. Just because he hurt Chaco by almost hurt Chaco by accident because he was a drunk ass motherfucker.
But Mari gets a text photo of another belt.
Yep.
And then it's from one of her friends from back in her
elementary school
days. And they go, oh, he wants to meet up, and then they go meet up with him, and he's like, there's this merry-go-round that's spinning, and they're all looking at it, and it's like, but guys, why are you just staring at a Ferris wheel? And then their friend is there, and he turns to dust, and then that was the moment that I was like, oh, there we go, he's dead.
I was like, what? Our new writer is dead already? And then that's when Mr. J shows back up, right? Or that's when he shows up for the first time in front of Faiz, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they fight. And then Takumi's losing, I think. And it takes one of the... It takes... No, we're forgetting something.
It blocks a finisher or something like that. And,
no, because he dies here. Or does he not die?
No, he blocks the finisher, and then Kaiza shows up, and Kaiza does his finisher and beats Mr. J for the first time.
The first time, because for whatever reason, Mr. J has 3 lives. How they know this, how they confirm this, and why is completely unexplained. But whatever.
How do you just? I think it's like one of those things where it's like when you get your power, you just know what it is. That's the only explanation to how you know you have multiple lives and exactly how many you have left.
It's true, because no one ever told Kiba that he could turn into a centaur or summon a sword, but he can totally turn into a centaur. He knows how to turn into a centaur and summon his sword. And then this is where we get Mari reconnecting with with her elementary school friends.
Yeah,
who had just recently had a reunion. But there was a problem. One person didn't show up, but their name had been signed on the card for like their sensei. It was like their teacher's retirement or something like that, and they were giving him like a card for his retirement, or maybe it was just a card for the class. Whatever, it doesn't matter. The point is the person's name was there, even though he wasn't, and their first thought was, well, how did his name get there? Rather than thinking like maybe someone wrote it in for him or something like that because he couldn't make it. But no, it was super important. They got to go find him now. Masato Kurasa or something like that. I don't know. I don't remember his name.
The lead up to this discussion,
he's a fucking git.
When we get the introduction of the other classmates, is them looking for someone, and when they find him, it turns out to be the person who's Henshin Kaiser right now, and when they take the belt off, he turns to dust.
Yeah.
Then when they're having that discussion about the card that had the signature that it couldn't have possibly have had, they get attacked by Mr. J again, and Takumi beats him. And then we start the plot of finding the guy who's not there, or who wasn't there.
Yes. And Mari is reminiscing about him. And she's like, oh, he was a crybaby, and I had to help him from bullies all the time, and da-da-da. I'm pretty sure he's still like a wimp right now. And so they go to the university, and they leave, Keitaro and Mari basically leave Takumi behind for some reason. Like
Takumi said he wanted to do something.
No. It was, his motorcycle had fallen over and hit someone's car.
Oh, yeah.
It was that. So he had to deal with that while Mari and Keitaro like go and do things. So as Takumi's wandering around, he like keeps butting into other people's like extracurriculars, like randomly asking to join a tennis match when he can't even serve the ball.
Yeah, and like as he's bumbling his way through this fucking college campus, interacting with multiple clubs. Every club he meets this guy,
this asshole, who's just like, hey, I don't know who you are, but you're getting in the way. You need to get out of here.
Yeah. Oh wait, you know what we forgot? You know what else we forgot to talk about?
What?
Mari meeting Kaido, because that happened when they were going to go meet up with the other kids.
We'll get to that in a little bit. We can come back to that.
So then, they get, or after some shenanigans of Mari trying to reconnect with this guy who she was told was the person she's looking for, we eventually get to a point where it's like, oh, this person isn't that person. And then we also find out that the person is, in fact, the guy Takumi keeps fucking bumping into every time he bumbles around this campus.
Who's whooping Takumi's ass in fencing.
Oh, yeah.
That's when the realization happens.
Yeah, then they have the fencing fight.
Because they're having a fencing fight because... I forget why, but, like, Takumi was just
Takumi's just really mad at him for a bunch of shit that's not actually his fault.
Yeah, and this guy is just like, man, you and I, we just don't get along. We got a score to settle. And I'm like, Takumi, excuse me, dying. Takumi, you don't know how to fence, and I know this for a fact because you don't know how to do anything.
Then
he sure doesn't know how to fence.
They have the fencing match. Takumi loses, and then Takumi goes to attack.
Oh, he starts trying to like physically assault this man.
Yeah, and this guy is apparently really good at judo and just tosses Takumi around.
He's also in the judo club.
Yeah.
He's in like 8 clubs.
Mari gets a call from the classmates saying that Mr. J is attacking again. And Takumi, like, they're like, come on, Takumi, let's go. And as Takumi runs past this guy, he goes to try to do like a sweep kick, like a spinning sweep kick.
Yeah, he like tries to sneak attack it in, just like while he's not paying attention.
But then the guy jumps over it and he goes, whatever, and then they leave.
And then they go deal with the thing.
Oh, by the way, the guy's name is Kosaka. I forgot. we were kind of just not talking about it.
No, I just don't remember his name.
So then they go fight Mr. J, and Mr. J is giving Takumi a hard time. Then Kosaka shows up. Kusaka, whatever. Shows up and takes the belt, or takes the Kaiza belt from the other kids, and then he henshins with it, beats Mr. J, and then when he de-henshins, he doesn't turn to dust.
Yeah, he doesn't die. So he's got whatever the touch is to let him not explode.
Yeah, he's got all those R cells.
He's got the Rider cells that keep him from being unflappable. But there's an issue here. There's a big issue here with Kusaka being a Rider. He's kind of a fucking asshole.
Yeah, anytime Mari's not around, or Keitaro and Mari aren't around, he's just a fucking asshole to like everybody, and he starts instigating shit.
He definitely he wants Takumi gone because he's extra yandere.
Yeah. Also, we're starting the Kaido loves Mari thing.
Yeah, basically while he was sick, Mari comes in and basically bosses him into getting rest instead of not getting rest. And Kaido likes being told what to do.
Yeah, he's a dog. He's a good boy.
He is, in fact, like, that's his monster form. He's a dog. That would be the joke. That he is a dog.
Yeah.
That's why he has good nose.
So he keeps showing up to her randomly and going like,
"Hey, let's go out. Hey, let's go out.
I really like you. Let's go out." And she
sandbagging it super hard.
She doesn't want it.
She definitely doesn't want it. But we're also at first. You know, at first, I want to say at first, I didn't realize that Yuka had a crush on Kaido. So we have a big we're getting a big dumb love dodecahedron going on right now because Keitaro likes Yuka because they've been interacting, but Keitaro and Yuka, they meet in real life, but they don't know that they're their pen pals because Yuka keeps using her last name Osada. So all he knows her is by the name Osada instead of by her first name Yuka. So he doesn't know that they've been pen pals, and he's got a crush on her, which causes some minor turmoil in him as he realizes, I really, really like this Osada girl, but it's like, I feel bad because I've been talking to Yuka like I really cared about her this entire time.
Yeah, so Yuka likes Kaido. Kaido likes Mari.
Mari doesn't like anybody.
Mari doesn't like anybody. Kusuke likes
Kusaka.
Whatever.
God, you remember his name worse than I do, and I don't even like the guy. Kusaka likes Mari.
Kusaka likes Mari, and then
hates everyone else.
Takumi doesn't like anybody.
Takumi does not like anybody. They pretend to maybe have a thing where he kind of likes Yuka, but that's just like, that's nothing. Because
I don't even think they pretended it. I just think that.
I know you know what I'm talking about.
You're talking about Keitaro going.
No, Takumi. Remember when Yuka saves him?
Yeah, but it's not like he doesn't. It's not like they don't do anything that shows that maybe he likes her. It just she saved him.
Yeah. But it's more positive feelings for a person than he's ever shown. So we have this big dumb love dodecahedron going on, and it's annoying kinda, but whatever. I'm forgiving the show because the characters go beyond their like one note crushes. Because like Yuka likes Kaido for whatever reason,
It's because she's lived her entire life as a doormat, and I guess she's just really hot for people who treat her like a doormat.
Who just yell at her and tell her that she's annoying and useless.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
Stockholm syndrome.
I don't think that's how that works. I don't think that's what Stockholm syndrome means, but whatever. So what ends up happening now is Takumi really doesn't like Kusaka, and they start butting heads, and Kusaka basically starts setting up. All right, how does it happen? Takumi gets like fucking wrecked, and then that's when he needs to get. Oh, Mr. J shows back up.
Yeah,
with his final life, where he's stronger than ever, and because he's stronger than ever, he whoops Takumi's ass. Because now Takumi is basically not good enough anymore. Like we have the new model. We have Kaiza.
Yeah, Takumi gets his ass whooped, and then Kusaka
shows up and whoops Mr.
jumps
J's
in
ass.
and beats Mr. J.
But he doesn't kill him just yet.
Yeah.
But Takumi does get knocked into the river and float downstream, while at the same time, one of the other members of the Lucky Clovers go and find Kiba, Kaido, and Yuka.
First he starts attacking Kaido, then Yuka and Kiba show up to help him.
Yeah, and so he's just like, because he's fighting Kaido, and Kaido can't touch him. Like it's not even close.
So during the fight, Kaido runs away.
And Kiba has to fight by himself, and
Kiba gets his ass kicked, and he gets thrown into a river, and then
he also gets thrown into the same river.
Yeah, and then and then the Lucky Clover guy tells Yuka that she's not on the list because she's been killing people.
She's been murdering people, not to turn them into allies. She's just been murdering people because she don't like them.
Yeah,
like she's just like. That's why I'm okay with like this stupid love dodecahedron, because the characters have things going on besides that are compounded by this stupid thing. Like Keitaro's having his worldview shattered. Yuka has to deal with the fact that she's a cold-blooded murderer. What is it? Kaido has to deal with the fact that he has no idea what he's fucking doing.
So, he knows what he's doing. He's trying to get into Mari's pants.
You know what I mean. That's the only thing he's doing. And all this stuff. Like, it's amusing. It can get a little egregious, but, I'll forgive it for now. It's not done terribly, I want to say, but that's my opinion. So after Takumi and Kiba fall into the river, and I'm like, I really hope each other group finds them, and then that's extra what happens. Takumi gets picked up by Yuka and Kiba, or no, he doesn't.
Kiba's like
Kiba gets picked up by Mari and Kusaka. And then Takumi
it's Keitaro and
Mari
and Kusaka,
or. Mari wasn't there when they picked up Kiba.
No, because this is this is right after the Mr. J fight, and Mari wasn't there.
Oh, whatever. Either way, it's the Rider team that picks up Kiba and the Orphanok team that picks up Takumi, but specifically Yuka.
Yeah, because Kaido's like, fuck that guy.
Yeah, Kaido's fuck that guy. He and I have problems because Kaido knows that Takumi is Faiz, but Takumi doesn't know that Kaido is an Orphanok.
And Yuka also doesn't know that Takumi is Faiz.
Yes. So Yuka takes Takumi to like this abandoned warehouse in the middle of the woods to like care for him instead of the apartment that she shares with Kaido and Kiba.
Yeah.
And she nurses him back to health. She hard murders a bunch of bikers that start harassing them by turning into her Orphanok form, and Takumi sees it, so she like runs away. While at the same time, during the Rider team, or back with the Rider team and Kiba, Kiba is literally like dying on the bed, and of all people that are watching him, they have Kusaka watching over him, and he's literally watching Kiba struggle to get a glass of water on the table next to him, and he's literally struggling for like a good like minute before he like can't grab it and he accidentally knocks it over, and then Kusaka's just like, man, look what you did. You made such a mess.
Get a towel and clean it up.
And he grabs a towel and he throws it at Kiba and tells him to clean up his mess. I'm like, damn, you found this guy literally dead in the middle of a river. What the fuck? Like, this guy was... They went hard in, like, Kusaka being an asshole. It's kind of great. It's kind of not great.
Anyway, Kiba gets better or kind of better and leaves. He gets better enough to leave.
He gets better enough to leave thanks to his Orphanok healing.
And eventually Takumi goes back to the laundromat.
Yeah.
And while they're and then he's like super getting into big arguments with Keitaro and Mari because of the fact that he doesn't like Kusaka. For good reasons he doesn't like Kusaka, but nobody else knows.
Yeah.
And he refuses to tell them why he hates Kusaka.
Also, because mostly he had pointed out to Kusaka that he noticed him, like, because the reason Kusaka is with them is they were like, oh, Kusaka, your name was on this. Do you know anything about it? And his face, like, he makes a face for like a split second, and no one but Takumi notices. And he confronts him about it later that he's hiding something, and he's just telling him to shut up because obvious secrets and whatever. And that's mainly the reason Takumi doesn't trust Kusaka, because he's being super shady about things. And it's because of that that Kusaka just wants Takumi gone. Also because, yandere over Mari.
Yeah. So while Keitaro and Takumi are out doing a delivery, they run into what's her face in her Orphanok form, Yuka, because she was just trying to help Kaido, who was getting attacked by the Lucky Clover guy again.
Yeah, and she's in her monster form, and then that's when Takumi recognizes her monster form as Yuka, but also fun fact, he had told Keitaro to not go after Yuka.
Yeah, he starts the don't go after that girl, she's trouble.
Yeah, he basically says, hey, you know that saying, hit it and quit it? You should probably skip that first part. And Keitaro doesn't, because Takumi's not giving Keitaro a reason, he's just saying, I don't know why you're trying to tell me what to do.
He's like, you're not my mom, you can't tell me what to do.
Yeah, he's like, what do you care? It's my life and all that stuff. So then because Takumi recognized, and this is important because this is a big part about Keitaro, like the whole schism between Takumi and Keitaro and Mari.
Yeah.
But another big thing is that during this, Takumi freezes up when he sees Yuka, and they're like, Takumi, you gotta go kill that fucking monster.
Oh yeah, because Kusaka and Mari show up,
and then Kusaka transforms into Kaiza. And he goes and starts trying to murder the shit out of Yuka in her Orphanok form. And then Takumi realizes that maybe he should he owes her his life. So he goes and attacks Kusaka. And everyone's just like, Takumi, what the fuck are you doing?
And then Kusaka's like, bro, what's up? And he goes, I just don't like you. And
he's like, yo, I don't like you. So we get an actual fight. And this fight actually was impressive to me because like it was a much better fight than anything Ryuki gave us. Almost anything Ryuki gave us.
Yeah. Kusaka gets his motorcycle finally. His actual.
It's a fucking Metal Gear.
Yeah.
It's not a motorcycle. It's all right. It's a motorcycle with like a sidecar, but when in its robot form, like Takumi's is like a humanoid robot type deal. But this guy turns into a Metal Gear. It's Metal Gear Ray or whatever, and it launches a missile barrage at Takumi, and he fucking almost dies from it, and it's great.
Yeah, you know what the best part about that missile? Right before that missile barrage, Mari and Keitaro run up to him and say, "Hey, what's going on? You need to stop." And Takumi looks up and he knows that Kusaka's gonna launch those missiles.
Oh, fuck me.
Yeah. And, like, I bet Kusaka is just banking on the fact that Takumi's gonna push them out the way anyway. Now we get the bit where the
fight goes on for basically the beginning of the next episode, and it's like Takumi is like he's losing. Like,
yeah,
Kusaka is just a way better fighter than him. Like, he's trained in martial arts and he's super cold and relentless, and Takumi isn't.
Yeah. Then after Takumi has his ass handed to him, they de-henshin, and then they both walk away from it.
Well, I was pretty sure that Mari convinces him to stop fighting. Like that was the end of the fighting, was that they like convinced him to stop.
And
because what I do like about this whole conflict is that Mari and Keitaro aren't basically immediately taking sides, because they've known Takumi for a while now. So they're like, you wouldn't do this for like no reason.
So yeah, so when then they part ways, and while Kusaka is like talking to them, it's like maybe he's like so he's trying to like implant the idea that maybe he's actually evil.
Or he basically says that, no, he's just implanting the idea that Takumi just doesn't like Kusaka, and that's the only, like, he's just being childish, not evil, just childish and petty, that he's jealous of Kusaka's fighting prowess and how effective he is as Kaiza.
Keitaro's immediate response is, "Nah, that's not something Takumi would do." And I'm like, yes!
Yeah.
Yes!
And even Mari is like having doubts about that explanation, but it doesn't help that the second Takumi gets home and Kusaka is alone with Takumi, he starts talking mad shit, and he even grabs him by the shoulder of his supposed broken hand.
Yeah.
He does the whole fake broken hand deal, but then as soon as Keitaro and Mari walk into the room, he's just, my hand, it's acting up again because Takumi started beating me up again, and they're like, and Takumi's like, that's not even what happened at all!
And then Takumi just leaves.
Yeah, Takumi is having a hard time explaining things about how he's feeling, and all this miscommunication is just like, Keitaro and Mari are legitimately trying to like get in for, like, why are you doing this, my guy?
But the problem is that Takumi doesn't want to tell them that Yuka's an orphanage.
Yeah.
So they have a bit where Takumi runs into Yuka again, and they're Takumi is talking to her about oh yeah, I guess they're just having a heart to heart about like, oh, you saved me, and then she goes like, oh, I'm a murderer, and he goes, are you for real? And she goes, well, I'm trying not to be a murderer, and he goes, it's whatever.
I believe you.
And while this is I think this is the plot where Kiba is his ex-girlfriend's brother gets
Yeah.
in contact with him. And he gets attacked by an orphanaut, and he turns into an orphanaut.
Because dramatic tension.
Yeah. And he's trying to convince Kiba to help him find out how his sister got murdered.
Yeah.
Eventually, he starts attacking people who he realizes he has orphanaut powers and starts attacking people that who are making fun of his sister. And Kiba goes to try and stop him, but then he like can't bring himself to do it. And Takumi witnesses somebody like actually turn to dust, and this kind of motivates him to want to start fighting Orphanox again. Mari, and while they're having this like Orphanox attacking the college campus shenanigans going on, Mari finds a magazine's like How to Cure Nekojita, and goes to bring it to Takumi, and she shows up at the campus and starts getting chased by the brother, and Takumi comes in to rescue her, and he sees the article, and at this point it's like they've effectively decided to never, like, they've just effectively decided that if Takumi doesn't want to talk about it, they're not going to talk about why Takumi's doing the things that he's doing, and they forgive him.
Yeah,
which I thought was all right. And Takumi henshins into Faiz, and then we get my favorite thing that in Japanese media ever, where the opening song plays during whatever important moment, and Takumi's fighting the brother, and then also the orphanox that turned to the brother shows up, and Takumi beats them both.
Yeah, it's great. It was a super strong scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Oh my god, fuck. It was a super strong scene for Takumi and his character, but it does have that slight narrative inconsistency of having the person turn into a pile of dust instead of them turning into a husk. But whatever.
Hey, it's not my...
Also, ash does not blow off of your skin like in the wind.
It was great.
Like that's not how ash works, because your skin has oils in it.
After Takumi beats the monsters, like, he's staring at his hand while he's henshin. Then he de-henshins and his hand is covered in ash. And then
because it's covered in the ash of the person that died in his arms. And then the wind blows and the ash blows away. That's not how ash works. Because your skin's fucking oily and it gets... Well, whatever, I don't care.
And then I look at Scott and I go, man, it's a good thing a real hand came out of that.
He was having Gills flashbacks. And that's pretty much where we are now, right?
There's two more things we gotta cover. There's the episode where they have to take care of the little girl who keeps dirtying people's laundries.
What fucking ever, that's irrelevant.
No, it's super relevant, because while they're dealing with that, that's the same time that Takumi beats Mr. J.
Okay, so yeah.
Mr. J's dead. Chaco is now all alone in this world.
Chaco is alone in this cold, unforgiving world.
Yes, except I guess the girl picks him up, and then Chaco's gone, and I really hope that Chaco is all right.
We all hope that Chaco is all right.
And then we get the episodes where fucking Kaido and oh my god, I'm brain farting on his name even though Keitaro, they meet up, and then they have a discussion where they both admit that they have feelings for the girls on like the other side, and then they're like, oh, we're gonna have a plan, and then they fucking have like a
the worst plan ever.
They have the worst plan ever of a stage double date. And you get this nice sequence where, like, after everybody's met up, they're all sitting at the bar. Keitaro is looking at Yuka in love. Yuka is looking at Mari like she wants to stab her. And
Kaido is
looking at Mari like he's in love.
And then Mari is just like, this is the worst. Because she had just met Yuka, and like Yuka had been explaining that she had a crush on a guy, and he was like, and she was like saying all these like nice things about him, like he was super considerate. And
then Mari's like, yeah, there's this guy who has a crush on me, and he's like, he's a fucking idiot.
Yeah, he's a fucking idiot, and they start laughing. And then, like, Mari has this realization, she's just like, this is the worst situation ever. And then, like, the pizza parlor suddenly gets huge, a huge, like, group of people.
Yeah, a little bit earlier in the episode, the pizza guy came to the laundromat and said all of his workers fucking quit, or whatever.
Yeah, and it was like, so basically Mari's just like, I'll become a part-timer right now if you get me out of here.
And then Kaido does it, and then Yuka does it, and then Keitaro does it.
And then they all get hired by the pizza shop on literally 5 minutes of notice.
And then Takumi wakes up in the morning, and there's like a phone ringing, and he goes, why is nobody fucking picking it up? Picks up the phone, and it's like, those two, hold on, let me go check on them. And they both come down the stairs, like, sick as shit.
Dying.
And they go, like, Takumi, go to work for us. Yeah, Takumi, go.
He's just like,
and no. Takumi is, like, backing up. Like, this is oh god, they're so disgustingly sick. And then he decides to go to the pizza shop.
And Kiba has to do the same thing, but yeah. It's also great because he keeps like weaving around them and going up the stairs to avoid them.
Yeah. And so they're both headed to the pizza place, and they're both attacked by different members of the Lucky Clover.
Yep.
Takumi's attacked by the guy who reads poetry, and Kiba's attacked by the bartender. And then they both get their shit pushed in. The guy steals the fucking the book guy steals the Faiz belt. Then Takumi and Kiba run into each other, and they're like, what are you doing here? Oh, that guy, stay away from him. And then the guy henshins into Faiz, and that's where the episode ends. And then that's where we're at.
Yep. So far, I really like Faiz. I think unless they like do some, I don't know, some dumb shit, it'll be my favorite, like, over Kabuto.
Fucking, I like it because, like, both this and last time I watched it, I came off of it watching I got onto it after watching Ryuki. And it's like you have this shitty one, and then this good one that seems really good because you just watched a shitty one.
You even have a Faiz action figure, don't you?
Yes, I have Faiz Blaster Mode on a shelf,
which I don't know what that is yet. Spoilers, guy. Not that it matters.
It's too late. You've already seen the action figure.
Anyway, that's where we are right now. So, tune in next time for the next 15 episodes summarized by two idiots.
Open your eyes for the next Faiz commentary.